On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
I want to know what you think of this, Anton, as far as companies who are non-black owned, but they use like um, black, black pride. Like as far as beauty products, a lot of those companies are owned by non black people, but they use black names to, I think, patronize black customers. You know what I'm saying? Like they use
Like
like
what? Give me an
some
example.
of them like beauty products. They're like African pride and black this and black that. So do you think
I
that
don't
they're
go into a beauty supply store. I wouldn't know anything
right?
about that
But
business.
I do, I do. So I know, a lot of beauty products they use black. A lot of the products, I was surprised when I looked up black products and found out that most of the companies are owned by non-black people. So do you think that they're using that to benefit from the black culture and they're not owned by black and they're not black owned?
I have no idea whatsoever. Two, I know black people that will say, yo, I'm not going there because I'm not supporting a business just because it's black owned. I'm rocking with a business because it has great products. If it just so happened to be owned by black people, cool. But that's not the reason that I'm going there. It's probably the biggest mistake that you can probably make as far as labeling yourself anything. I don't care what it is. I'm woman owned, I'm man owned, I'm black owned, whatever. I want everybody to patronize me because money doesn't have a color. So if you're in business and business is supposed to be to make money, and this is the difference between people that open up a business and people that understand business, right? When you open up a business, you only creating another job for yourself. And when you limit or you remove the opportunity from people that may see things differently, but was able to see based off of the product that you're selling, that's a completely different conversation. So my point is that very few people understand business. Anybody can open up a business, but very few people understand how to look at things from a business perspective. And it is probably one of the most destructive things that you can probably do to your business if you're only limiting yourself to the amount of customers that you want to serve. It's crazy, it's stupid. And I always look at people that do that and I say, okay, we're gonna see how far this go. We're gonna see how far it go.
Hey, can I push back on that comment real fast?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So I mean, I understand what he's saying, but you're speaking from a perfect world. And a lot of times they don't have black owned business, but by the service they offer, it's offering for a particular type of individual, whether it's race, gender, and everything. So your concept is strong, but not in this current environment. If I walk up to a place and they got all Chinese letters in it, yes, it doesn't say Chinese on, even if you can read Chinese, but it serves into a particular group of people. The same thing with barbershops. When I first got to the DC, Virginia area, the first thing I did is I looked for a black-owned barbershop. Not because I'm just racist or something like that. No, I want somebody who familiar with my hair to do that. So if you just put barbershop or whatever, yes, you might get your core individuals out there, but every person have done this before. They actually go and say black-owned barbershops, and you try to find it. Women probably do it too. I don't know. I'm not a woman. But the thing is that label, I agree with you, can hurt you. But as far as the products that we do and we provide, it can only benefit us.
No, it cannot. And the interesting thing about it is that just because you know a bunch of people that said black owned, what about the people that didn't say it? Like, what is your comparison? What kind of data and statistics, and not necessarily data specifically, because we're not about to cite data in real life, right? But who do you have to compare it against? Did you compare against a barber that didn't say black owned versus a barber that did say black owned? Because a lot of times people don't even know what they don't know. And I'm not going to alienate a completely different customer base just because I want to patronize or I want to advertise to another customer base. In 2021 and in this time that we're in, there are no limits to the amount of people that you can reach. And just because you may see yourself one specific way does not necessarily mean that you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you don't even know the customers that you missed out on. Yet you may look for a black-owned barbershop, but a lot of people don't give a piss. How many people looked for or seen, not even look for, but seeing when somebody said it and say, yo, I'm not rocking with that? Because I know a lot of people like that too. Just because they don't verbalize it amongst a group of people because they don't want to be criticized openly by them does not mean that when they get comfortable, then they saying, you know what, I don't rock like that. Because I don't rock like that. That's the first thing that if I see something that says black owned, most of the time I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to be bothered, because I'm not patronizing it just because you black. I'm patronizing it because you dope. I'm one of the people that say I'm not rocking with it because you rocking like that. So in the same way that you said that you look for it, I do too. But I look for it on the other side and I say I'm not rocking with it.
Anton, I have two questions for you based on the things that you were just saying. The first one is, do you think that if a business, states that they're black owned, and I think Kayla mentioned it earlier, like there are varying degrees to which this can be used in marketing. Let's say that this is not like their main marketing pitch or whatever. It's just something like, this is a black owned business. Do you think that actually alienates like people?
100%.
I heard you say alienate multiple times.
Yes, it does.
How so?
It's the same way if you're serving food, I don't want to know your political beliefs. If you're serving food, I don't really care about anything that's not relevant to what it is that you're serving. I'm looking for the dopest food. I'm looking for the dopest haircuts. I know some white barbers that's dope as piss. Like I know some people all the way across the board that don't care nothing about color or whatever like that. So I don't know. I come from a space where I've always rocked with people based off of the content of their character. And if I see somebody trying to lean on something that's not relevant to whatever the business is, then I'm not rocking with it. Because your service or what it is that you're selling should sell or should be the stick versus whoever it is. If I see a business that's like woman owned, I'm like, Rita, come on, let's get on from out of there. I just want a dope business. I'm not looking for a business that's trying to get a leg up by identifying themselves any specific way, because again, my life has to be the same way across the board. And the same way that I rock with people based off of character, just based off of my friendships and how it is that I do business with them, is the same way in which I rock with people based off of how I patronize businesses.
But see, my biggest
hold on, Elijah. Mr. Logic, hold on. Let me get to Didi real quick, because I know she had her hand raised. Go ahead, Didi.
Yeah, so I want to know what you think of this, Anton, as far as companies who are non-black owned, but they use like black pride. Like as far as beauty products, a lot of those companies are owned by non-black people, but they use black names to, I think, patronize black customers. You know what I'm saying? Like they use
like what? Give me an example.
Like beauty products, they're like African pride and black this and black that. So do you think
I don't go into a beauty supply store? I wouldn't know anything about that business.
But I do. I do. So I know, a lot of beauty products, they use black. A lot of the products, I was surprised when I looked up black products and found out that most of the companies are owned by non-black people. So do you think that they're using that to benefit from the black culture, and they're not owned by black, and they're not black owned?
I have no idea whatsoever.